Honestly, I didn't know there had never been anyone not having a baby as a member of Congress. It just never occurred to me. It's not really one of those things you think about. I knew how old I was. I knew that I wanted to have a child. I had just gotten married, and I knew that I intended to have a child, and it never occurred to me it would be impossible or difficult to do this as a member of Congress. So I find out later that no one has done this before. And it wasn't the easiest thing in the world, because I was commuting from California to Washington every other week. And I was just very fortunate that I was a very strong person and physically very able to carry on all my duties, all my responsibilities. One thing was very interesting. I had a bill on the floor that no one wanted to see passed because it was, they said it was protectionist legislation, saying that you had to have steel purchased within the United States on certain projects. They didn't know who was going to debate against me. They finally got Wright, who was then not the speaker, but he was Speaker pro tem, to debate me. He was the only one who agreed to debate a pregnant woman on the floor of the House. But I have to say, that was like having 434 godparents. Everyone was just wonderful, and I was fortunate. You know, I was fortunate that I could go through that whole thing, and I stayed until just before the baby was born. And the most conservative Republican was the one who made the motion to grant me maternity leave. And it was, I got through it. I traveled with the baby back and forth from California, just like before, every 2 weeks. Fortunately, she was not a lot of difficulty or trouble or sickly or anything like that, and I was able to do it. My husband was very cooperative and helpful, and I did it for 6 years. But it did become a problem for me in terms of how she was going to go to school. I thought I was going to be able to work it out so that she could go to school, and then every other Friday we would come back, but I just was unable to work that out. So I decided I would come back to California and run for office. It's incredible that it took all those years before there was a woman. But the attitude among my peers was excellent. And among my district, I only had one letter from one constituent who said, "You shouldn't be back there having babies, you should be working for us." But also, you know, I had a pediatrician, and so I talked to the pediatrician about the fact that I was going to be traveling back and forth. And he said to me, "You know, I think what you really should do is find some older woman to take care of your child. If you're going to continue doing this, going back and forth, rather than dragging her like that, you should find someone to take care of her, and so that you can go back and forth." And I said, "Okay, I'll just get another pediatrician."